Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to our board meeting this evening, and I'd like you all to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Harmony, could you verify quorum?
Okay, Director Cook. Director Griffiths. Director Bach.
Here.
Director Berringham.
Here.
President Kameshian.
Here.
5 present, quorum met.
Let's see, we can approve the minutes from the May 4th meeting. Do we have any corrections, additions, or do we have a motion for the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve as written.
Second the motion.
Okay. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Looking out for public officials, we know we have Darcy Burke from the Water District. Darcy?
Thank you, President Kameshian. Congratulations on your appointment as president, and congratulations to our new board members. It's nice to see you all up there working together. The Water District is very excited to continue building on the foundation that we have been working on for the last couple of years, and looking forward to hopefully having a joint meeting this fall along with the city. As we had spoken about in previous meetings, we're actually putting together an orientation for the new board members if they'd like to participate. That will be with the new city council member and then Councilman Aaron Kranz's replacement once we have that appointment. So that will be happening in the next few weeks, hopefully. That will include some probably just presentations, but also some visits to our wastewater facility and the drinking water treatment plant. Speaking of the drinking water treatment plant, that pilot project will start next month. That will run for about 12 months, and that is to test some new technology to remove some new constituents and contaminants, as well as some other ones we think that are coming down the pike. So we will take about 9 to 12 months to test that, and the entire time the plant will be offline, and we don't expect the plant to come back online until 2025. So I just want to remind all of our residents and friends that I have no authority to raise the lake level or to lower the lake level. And rather, we operate it as a drinking water reservoir, not a recreational lake. Recreation is just a really unique benefit that we have here in Canyon Lake, and one that we treasure and try to make sure we take care of. And I'm sorry for those that would like the lake a little lower, and I'm happy for those that are enjoying the higher lake level this season. And that's really all I have to say about that. On June 24th at 6 p.m., we will have our water and sewer rate public hearing. You can participate via Zoom. And although the state is anticipating on opening on June 15th, EVMWD is also required to comply with current CalOSHA regulations, which is why we have not opened back up for public meetings yet because of our size. So we will hopefully be doing that in July once we have further direction from CalOSHA. But people can participate via Zoom, or you can put in a letter that you don't agree or you oppose the rates. Just to remind people, we have a number of rate drivers, including a 26% electricity increase, additional imported water costs because we have our water plant off, so we have to buy water to replace it. We have rising healthcare costs, as well as some other unforeseen circumstances, such as $1.5 million in outstanding bills that have not been paid due to COVID. So the governor did a moratorium. We cannot shut water off for non-payment, and we have yet to be able to collect about $1.5 million. The good news is, though, we expected that to be $3 million, so we at least have seen some relief from that, and we hope there will be some relief from the legislature as we move forward. If you've been following the news, the drought was declared by the governor in all counties except Southern California. And that is because we have spent enormous amounts of money and time and resources over the last 20 years building reservoirs and improving our water use efficiency. So currently, Southern California is not under drought mandates. We are aware that they may come from the governor. We are hoping that the governor respects all the investments that both our citizens have made by putting in maybe some synthetic turf or changing out their yard or using water efficient appliances. But I can't promise what the draconian steps the governor will take. I can just make sure that you know that we're fighting to make sure it's respectful of all the investments we have made. Even though we are raising rates, the best way our residents can actually save money is to just be more efficient. I'm not going to ask you to conserve unless it's an emergency, but I am going to ask you to be more efficient. My division is Division 1, and we are the most wasteful and inefficient division of all other divisions. And I really think it's just because people set your sprinkler timers and we're just not paying attention. One of the benefits of paying attention, though, is it improves the water quality in the lake. The less runoff we have, the less waste we have, and the less algae we have. So if people could just pay attention a little bit, it would go a long way. Finally, the only other thing I wanted to remind you is Mayor Castillo and I will be having a coffee tomorrow morning at 7:30 at the Country Club. We are trying to do those the first Wednesday of every month at 7:30. Someone made a great recommendation that maybe I could have some later in the afternoon for people that might golf or work far away. And so I'm working on finding an alternate date for those individuals. I'm always available if you want to call me or email me. I try to be extremely responsive. If you have any questions or concerns, if I'm happy to take any questions from the board members, but that's my presentation for this evening.
Thank you, Darcy. I do have a question. Did I hear 26% increase in electricity costs?
That is correct. Followed by another 14%, followed by another 7% in the next 3 years.
Pretty significant. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you very much for your time.
Mhm.
President Commission, we do have Mayor Castillo on Zoom as well.
I'm sorry.
We have Mayor Castillo on Zoom as well.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Mayor Castillo.
Okay, we'll bring her in.
I'm sorry. Mayor Castillo, please go ahead.
All right, I think I'm off of mute now. Good evening,
Yes.
everyone. Thank you so much for this time. I wanted to especially thank all of the community members for coming to the city event that was held on Saturday in honor of those that we need to remember as part of Memorial Day. It was great to see all the community members who participated in the golf cart parade, and they ended at the city event, and we are grateful for that. We had a great turnout, and I've seen some photos of other cities and their events, and I think Canyon Lake had the best turnout of all. And so for that, I'm very grateful as we honored our military. Tomorrow night at the city council meeting, we will be honoring former Councilman Jordan Ehrenkrantz. Jenny Ehrenkrantz will be in attendance to receive certificates, resolutions, and other honors on Jordan's behalf. We encourage everyone to wear Hawaiian shirts, which is how Jordan would want it. The council chamber will still be at limited capacity based on the state's COVID restrictions, so we encourage participation virtually. If we do have a large turnout, our goal is to not have to turn anyone away, but we will have to regulate that. We have been receiving a lot of questions about the process for filling the vacancy that Jordan has left. It will be an appointment process. The application period will open on Monday of next week and will close on Thursday, June 17th at 5 p.m. Interested applicants should contact the city clerk's office and make an appointment to pick up an application packet. I filled them out, they're not that bad. This will be done in person as there are a number of items the city clerk needs to go over with each applicant. Applications will first be reviewed by an ad hoc committee consisting of 2 members of the council, 1 myself, and 1 other to be determined. And then we will forward the most qualified applicants to be interviewed by the entire city council at a special meeting, which is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, June 23rd. At our meeting tomorrow night, we will have our annual public hearing, which sets fees for the trash service and for the EMS subscription program. Those programs are already in place. This is just for the fee setting. based on rising costs, CR&R is requesting a rate increase of 61 cents per month. The EMS subscription fees will not be going up. The council has elected not to adjust those and increase them despite any kinds of startup we are doing with the fire department. So that will remain status quo. Tomorrow night, we will also be considering a 6-month extension of our agreement with the county for fire service, which will take us to January 1st. And that's when our City of Canyon Lake Fire Department will launch. We will also be considering an agreement with the county for the county to provide dispatch and communication services to our new fire department beginning January 1. And lastly, tomorrow night, the council will be adopting the budget for fiscal year 2021-2022. We'll be running a planned deficit for the next year due to startup costs of our new fire department. However, this is solely due to the one-time startup costs and our finances remain healthy. Minus these startup costs, we would be projecting a significant general fund surplus for the next year. I'm grateful for your time and congratulations to the new board members and newly elected positions within your board. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Castillo. Appreciate that. And kudos to you and your staff for a really nice event on Saturday. That was very nice and moving, and it was well done. Thank you. I don't want to go any further without welcoming my new board, our board, and our 3 new members. And we've already had some meetings, and we know everybody pretty well right now, and we're working together very well. And I just welcome them aboard, and I think the community will be real pleased with the actions and the product of this board for this coming year. So just be patient though. If there's no other public officials? Harmony?
No, sir.
Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there anybody that would like to pull any of the items off the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move to accept the consent agenda as written.
Second. You gotta get your mic on when you do that, but yeah.
I'll second and third.
Okay, moved and seconded. We'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay, we've got our board action item. First item is 7.1, approval of the committee policy. Harmony, it's got your name on it. Did you want to address that, or?
Sure. So every year we have an annual review of our policies with our new board. This year we take a look at our charters, our board meeting policy, our reoccurring board meeting dates, our committee policies, etc. And we only had a few changes that this board would like to see that they put on the agenda tonight for consideration. And that would be to add a rules and regulations review committee. And the actual approval of the charter will be the next item, but this is just the opportunity to add it to the committee policy itself. If we can have the board consider approval.
Okay, thank you, Harmony. So the first order of business is to accept a motion to accept the revised committee policy.
I'll make a motion to accept the revised committee policy as written.
Second. All right, we have it, motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion from the audience?
We have no comment cards. No comments.
No
from the
comments
audience.
from the people at home? Okay, then we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the revised committee policy, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, item 7.2 is calling for the approval of the Rules and Regulation Review Committee. Corey, could you give us a little information on that?
Of course. Good evening.
Good evening.
The Rules and Regulations Committee is being established as a standing committee. The primary responsibilities of the committee will include, based on the direction of the board and through the oversight of the board liaison and or staff liaison, review and recommend the addition, amendment, or removal of CLPOA rules and regulations and associated fine amounts that are contemplated / designated for amendment by the board. And the second responsibility would be to assist the board with research and analysis of significant issues which may have a potential impact on the rules and regulations, again, contemplated or designated for amendment by the board. The committee shall consist of 7 members plus 1 alternate. So once this is approved, we will be looking for members who are interested in serving on this committee. If you are interested, please fill out a committee application that can be found online, or you can visit our member services office.
Thank you, Corey. Yeah, I can add to that we've had the Rules Committee established at least once before, if not twice before. We feel that while it serves a good purpose, it has to be used wisely. And this board is in agreement that we want to rely on committee help and support in reviewing rules. And while they will be closely monitored, we will rely heavily on their advice and support. So I haven't done the motion. So I will call for a motion to accept the or approve the Rules and Regulation Review Committee charter.
Motion to approve the Rules and Regulation Review Committee charter.
Have a second?
Second.
Call for discussion. Anybody in the audience like to talk about the Rules Committee? Okay, and anyone at
No
home?
comment cards. No comments.
Okay. All right, then we'll call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
All right. This is one that a lot of you folks near and dear to a lot of people. As you all know, the last election, there was $2.2 million appropriated by the members in a vote to build a park at Sierra Park with a pump track. Kind of an unprecedented event. Took a lot of us by surprise. And now we're here tonight to allocate the money that was approved by the community, by the board, to commit to that funding. So, Steve, Eric's gonna do it? Okay. Oh, you know what? It might be my device. Really? Yeah, you hear it? Okay. Travis, would you just bring that device that's next to the microphone? Bring the device, the little box that's next to the. Is that, yeah.
Sorry, we hear music in the room. We're trying to figure out where it's coming from. Okay.
So
All right.
It's not that?
All right. Well, Harmony, it's okay. I guess we'll just go ahead. So a little timeline for everybody. Tonight, we're going to talk about Sierra Park North. We've 3 or 4 boards plus maybe have been talking about building a bicycle pump track and developing our last unused piece of land, Sierra Park North off Vacation Drive. And our our timing was a little funky for the ballot measure. So we put together our plans and specs and an engineer's estimate and renderings, and we took the information that we had and put that on our ballot months before the election. And then we put the project out to bid, and we got all of our bids the day before the election. And of course, we went into our election, the community approved spending $2 million with a 10% contingency. And what we're here to do tonight is to ask that the board of directors approve CIP funding in the amount of $2 million with a 10% contingency, and authorize staff to negotiate and value engineer the project with bidders for a full development of a family park at Sierra Park North. We expect to execute a construction contract and start the project in July. So there's a little explanation needs to go with that. And we received 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 6 bids.
Yeah.
The spreadsheet's really small on my board book, sorry. Received 6 bids, and staff has been working with and negotiating with the 2 low contractors. And where we are is the bids we received the day before the election range from 2.2 million to 3.5 million. And those are round numbers. And that is for construction of the park without the pump track aspect of the park. So if you add the pump track portion, the track itself, to the bids that we received, real world construction bids, construction economy's booming, the economy is doing fairly well. I didn't really want to use an estimate going into the ballot measure, but to get the ballots ready in time for the election, we had to use a number, so we relied on engineers' estimates. I've been a contractor for 35 years, and I find that those tend to be low. And anyway, what we're finding now is we have bids for $2.2 million plus $325,000 for the track. So that puts us around $2.5 million. So Steve Schneider, Director of Operations, and I, we've had multiple meetings with the low contractors. We've talked with our landscape architect, our civil engineer. We have another meeting tomorrow, and we're looking for ways to value engineer this and find ways to save money. I won't get into a whole lot of detail right now, excuse me, but there's 50 or 60 line items in the bid. One of them, for instance, is a prefabricated restroom building, which you order from a company. They make it in a factory, they put it on a truck, and they bring it here. That's a $250,000 line item. We know that we can build that on site for closer to 100. So there's the savings. We will be taking advantage of that savings. There's some copper pipe specified. We're going to use PVC pipe instead. We're taking all the extra things that aren't necessary to the form and function of the park and looking for ways to save money. I'm hopeful that we can do it. We have a little ways to go before we can get to $2.2 million. And if we do get there, then we won't have much of a contingency. So Steve and I are just grinding as hard as we can, and we're going to try to make this thing work and go build a park for $2.2 million. And I'm asking the board tonight to kind of pass the torch to Steve and I, and bless us continuing to negotiate with contractors and value engineer the project. And we expect that we'll come back in a month and award a contract and go to work.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, and I can assure everyone, the board's goal is to see this project through in one form or another. May not be the way it was originally designed, but we are committed to doing whatever we have to do to make sure we get a park at Sierra Park with a pump track. So that is definitely our goal. Another thing is one of the other issues, I don't know that Eric mentioned that, but COVID had a major impact on all of us, and it had a major impact on labor and material costs, which impacted the bids that came in. So we're still feeling those effects, and so we're just going to do the best we can with what we've got. So with that, I'll call for a motion to approve the funding for the family park at Sierra Park North.
So moved.
Let's call for a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I will ask anyone here if you have any comments. Jack?
I don't have any problem with the project or the expense, but listening to what Eric is bringing up, it's going to run quite a bit more than we originally thought. Yeah, you're talking pretty close to what, 3 million?
2.5.
Yeah. So anyway, is there any way where they can kind of stretch that out so that our people can kind of pay for it in maybe 2 years or something like that? I know you have
Let me just say, we're looking at every possible alternative. There's a lot of money in and I wanted to add this anyway. It's a very steep and kind of unusable piece of land. There's a creek that runs through it. There's hardly any flat spots. There's a giant hillside. It's all rock. There's a EVMWD easement that runs right through the project, which really limits what we can put where. And we're looking at all sorts of creative alternatives right now, like changing the elevation. The pump track pad, the dirt pad is up here, for instance. And if we have almost $400,000 in plantable retaining walls to make the flat spots for the road and make the flat spot for the pump track and the restroom, because it's not a flat site, not at all. And so there's a huge cost in those retaining walls and the grading. And along with that goes a lot of import dirt at about $15 a yard, and all the trucking and the fuel. And we know fuel isn't cheap right now. So the prices we got reflect a really roaring construction economy right now, and $6 gas prices, and this some very expensive features. And so we're looking at those big ticket items, the retaining walls. We're trying to maybe drop the grade down on the pump track a foot or two, which will save us on dirt, fencing, stairs, retaining walls, import, trucking. And so we're being as creative as we can. And if we have to get to a point where we take an item from the park and defer it for a year or two later, we may have to do that. But we fully intend to build this park, and the economy is what the economy is, and the estimate was an estimate. And we're very excited to have the money, and we really want to build a park.
that flow of water, that affect our permit with the water company?
Does what affect our permit?
The flow, are we changing the flow with reference? There is a normal flow of water coming down.
We haven't made any decisions yet, but obviously everything would be permitted and approved with flood control, EVMWD, the city. We already have a permit from the city. Now that we know what everything costs, we're going to have to go back to the city and get plan changes approved.
Yeah.
We have to get EVMWD to sign off. As I said, they have a big sewer line runs right through the whole project, which kind of dictated where things go. So we're working very hard on it, and we intend to move forward in a month, doing as much of this park as possible.
That doesn't come through our particular organization. Doesn't come under flood control.
It may. There's a blue line stream there, but we're not touching it.
Yeah, I think it probably does through that and the
Right.
Army Corps of Engineers. But
Right.
anyway, Eric, if I can help you on it, I will.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack. As I stated, our goal is to see the project start in July within the $2.2 million budget that was allocated by the community. So that's our goal. And we've just got to work a lot of different ways to get there. Okay. Any other comments from the audience? Harmony, do you have anybody at home?
No.
Okay. With that, we'll call for approval. Yeah, no, we've called for that. We can call for the
We
vote.
already have a motion and a second.
I'm sorry.
We already have a motion and a second.
Right,
Yeah,
thank you. So I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
5 in favor, motion carried.
Okay. So now we're down to the member, that's actually does it for our board business. But we're down to our member comments section where we talk about non-personal issues. Your time is limited to 3 minutes. We do want you to state your name, track and lot, and just be civil and keep it on point with POA business. Okay. Do we have anybody here?
Yes, so we just wanted to remind everyone who's watching at home, if you are on Zoom, please try to raise your virtual hand and we'll try to call on you. We won't see you on Facebook, so you would have to join the Zoom meeting and raise your virtual hand. In person, our first is Kaylin Morris.
Hi, I'm Kalen Morris, track lot 3868199. Congratulations again, everybody on the new board, and thank you everyone once again for your volunteer service to our community. First thing main thing I wanted to talk about today was the ski judging towers that are located in the North Lake. I would ask that they please be moved to the locked POA-owned dock on the opposite side of the Marine Patrol boat. I believe that they're quite dangerous and unnecessary liability to have out there. I know that the ski club would like to have them back out when they have tournaments, but as it turns out, they're actually totally unnecessary. You guys are all welcome yourselves to go online to the sanctioning governing board that puts on their tournaments and see that they are not required for their sanctioned events. You could contact their board of directors as well, find out that same information for yourselves. And therefore, I would also ask that we remove any and all that are possible of the anchors, the large trash cans filled with concrete that have been dumped into the lake over who knows how many years in order to put those into place, since they actually wouldn't ever actually need to be put back out there once again. That was the main thing I wanted to say. I just wanted to also mention once again that I am open and welcome to working with the board and any staff on issues related to our rules and the California, I'll give you the government code, California Government Code 12955. That's 12955. And it'll reference California Civil Code 51, which is the UNRWA Civil Rights Act. And that is dealing with specifically age and familial status violations in our rules, the most egregious being GR 2.11 curfew, blanket curfew for minors between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. You can't fine members for being out any more than you could fine someone for being out for being Black or Jewish during that time period as well. City, that's a whole nother issue, right? This is POA, this is housing, can't do it. So I welcome everybody to working with that. And thank you again for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Appreciate that. Anyone else?
Yes, next is Fred Naha.
Fred Naja, 3716219. Sorry, I'm going to be a little bit nervous, but I just wanted to talk about the community patrol. You know, I've lived here since 2005, and every so often I get these tickets on my car for being parked over 72 hours. Now, of course, this year is, I don't even go to work, so I have 2 cars. One of them is parked there a long time. But I've gotten these tickets before, so I'm aware of it. So I do go through the gate once in a while. So, they're writing off the tickets now because they see me going through the gates. But the girl that comes and gives the tickets, on the email, it says, oh, he just moved the car, pushed it back. That's why I'm going to give him a ticket. Or the next time she came around, it had rained the day before. On the ticket, it says, oh, it has rained. I can't see the chalk mark, but I know he hasn't moved it. But it's been through the gate already. So I don't know how these people are. I know they need money, and every so often I get these tickets. It's just just grab some money. I don't know how many people out there are not checking their tickets. I've taken off 3 of them for going through the gate, and they've still given me a ticket for parking in the same spot. I'm limited on my parking. And then one time they gave it 2 hours early. So I was able to get it off because it's a 72-hour period, and she gave it to me in 70 hours on her ticket. That went away. So the only time I couldn't get out of it, I was on vacation for 10 days, and I got 6 tickets in a row, $600. Okay? So the board was nice enough to cut it down to $300 for me. But when you go on vacation, don't leave your car in front of your house, because after 72 hours, they can give you a ticket every day. And then I've been getting 6 tickets. I got 6 tickets lately for my car being dirty in front of my house. I requested Corey to see if there's a rule about me needing to wash my car. I have pictures here. I would love to send it to you with the email, the tickets that they send me. So they say, oh, there's a cobweb underneath the tailpipe. There's a cobweb underneath the front of your hood. I've driven on the freeway and I've taken pictures before and after, and the cobweb is still there. So I don't know if there's really a legitimate rule in the books that I'm supposed to clean all the cobwebs from underneath my car, but I have 6 tickets right now, $50 each, for my car being dirty, but the paint is not painted. I have 7 cars in my neighborhood that the paint is all painted on the top. My car is not painted. I don't wash my cars. I really try to save my water for my trees. The 2 days I went and washed my RV and my van and my cars, my water use doubled for the month, just for washing 2 days worth of my driveway, my cars, and my vans, and my RV. It doubled my water use. If you think I should waste my water that way, I've asked people to email me that it's okay, go ahead and waste the water. But I know governor said that don't waste your water this year. So I have 6 tickets. I'm hoping that they will write it off for me. I've talked to them. The first one they didn't. Now I have 6 more with them for having a dirty car. Okay.
Let me ask you to please wrap it up. Wrap up your thoughts.
Okay. 2 more things. One thing is I almost got a ticket for parking too close to a stop sign. I lived here for 15 years, never knew about it. I didn't get it. Luckily, I was 1 inch more away than 12 feet. The guy took out his tape measure, measured it from the stop sign to the bumper. I was 1 inch further back than 12 feet. I was wondering if there's some way you can make a rule that from the stop sign, you guys can put a red curb on there for the 12 feet so people know this is like a freaking fire hydrant. You're not supposed to park there. I don't think that would be a hard thing to do. And I know it'll save people money and you might not make as much money, but I think it's a fair rule to have it painted. And one last thing. I know the flag thing was a big deal last time. In the backyard, is it okay to put as many flags as you want on your gazebos and stuff? Is it okay to do that, any kind of flag?
I can tell you that we do not control your backyard. We do not control your anything that you put in your backyard as far as flags.
So it's okay to fly flags that's visible from the street?
It may not be okay, but it's nothing that we can control.
No, but there's no law against it then. We could put any kind of flag we want flying where people can see it on the street.
The only rule we have in place about people seeing it from the common area is that it not contain any profanity or foul words.
But political flags and all that is fine all year long. If it's in the backyard, no problem.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Thank you. I can tell you, I use it all the time. I'm not a fan of washing my car either, but there's a car wash on Newport Road.
I'm not a fan of spending money either.
Okay, it's $6 for.
I know, but I've been out of a job since last March.
I understand. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Art Femister.
Thank you for the reminder here. That was a good idea, by the way. So Art Femister, track and lot 3719315. So I want to first thank Jim and Joe on your new leadership positions on that. Congratulations on that. And to the 3 other board members there on your newly elected positions there. I think that's great, and we're excited for that. So I know, Joe, you mentioned in your closing statements from the last meeting that we should put all the boo-ha behind us, and I agree, and we should move forward, and I agree with that. But I think it would be good to have some closure on what caused all that raucous and what have you. So I'd like to make a few suggestions on that. My suggestion would be that if a member comes to before the board and says, and brings to you a criminal complaint, I am being harassed, intimidated, bullied, something that's out of the purview of the POA, that they are informed immediately if there is no rule for it, for like, for example, noise. If someone's blasting Trump 2020 on a speaker from 10 a.m. to 6 a.m., that's a noise ordinance. We have that on the books. We can find a person for that. But if it's not something on the books, if it's just a flag, they're informed. We have no rule for that. We're sorry to hear that. What we'd like to do is have our attorney or a third-party organization or what have you, investigator, contact you with your permission, understand better what is taking place. They will present their facts, a third-party, non-associated with the POA group, organization, person, and they will inform us. If we feel from there, hey, there is something here we never thought of. Maybe it's the drone issues. We got people flying drones in the backyard. Is there something we can do to stop that? That will probably come up someday. Then maybe we do need to come up with a rule. But just going from, I heard this, we're doing this, and then causing, you know what happened from there, I think could have been prevented. So that would be my suggestion on that. If it's something not on the books already, then we need to, inform them that and let them know we want to investigate it. We do want to know what's going on, but that's all we can guarantee you is that we'll look into it. Second one is there was also a conflict of interest violation, in my opinion, of course, during the North Ski area where we had a sitting board member making a decision on a subject that he had an interest in. And in Davis Sterling, they call that an interested director. An interested director is one who has an interest in the outcome of a board decision because he or she receives a personal benefit from that decision that is different from the benefit conferred on other members of the association. Hence, if my daughter or son was a world-class skier and uses that, and I say, I don't want anybody else using that area because I want it anytime I want to be able to use it, I think that would be an issue. That would be a problem. That would be a conflict of interest. The problem is we all recognize it on the phone because we're all chatting with each other going, what the heck's going on here? But nothing happened. Davis Sterling really has no teeth. We talk about it all the time, but there's no teeth. What are we going to do? That's over behind us. But I think going forward, there needs to be something where if the board doesn't step in and say, that's a conflict of interest, you need to step down, then maybe a new rule or policy or something that says if 200, 100 members, whatever, sign a petition and say they feel there's a conflict of interest, that person should be removed from that decision. Something that can override the board. Because if you get 5 friends together on the board, then we're basically stuck. There's nothing we can do. So just something. So I'll let it go at that because I know I'm over my 3 minutes. So again, I want to thank you all for your time. Congratulations. And looking forward to moving forward now. So, all righty. Everybody have a great summer.
Thank you, Art. Your timing is very good. Okay. Do we have any other?
No other comments.
No other comments? Okay. So we can go to the association reports. We're not going to address at this point, right?
No, we will.
Oh,
It's on here, sir.
I'm sorry.
I got to remember how we do things. It's only the second time we've been in this room. So as usual, I will direct everyone to the very detailed staff and departmental reports in our agenda. It's been a very busy month. I can't thank our staff enough for the Park Hopper event. It was an absolute fantastic success. Extra kudos to our activities, corporate operations and communication staff, and anybody else that had a hand in it. Also to all the clubs, vendors, and members that showed up and participated and brought their classic cars. And it was just an all-around great pivot from our normal Fiesta Day, which we had to cancel last year, It was very popular. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard this is a great event. We should do it every year separate from Fiesta Day. This is a great event. We should do it instead of Fiesta Day. So I'm sure we will see Park Hopper again in one form or fashion. It was very successful. All the venues I attended were just packed, and it went really, really well. So it was something we did despite COVID, and I think everybody involved really did a great job. Try to give you a quick update on some projects we're working on. We talked about Sierra Park North enough, I think. Steve and I have a meeting tomorrow with contractors and engineers to try to chisel some cost out of that and make it happen. We will be, I think, starting this weekend, renovating the member services area. Over a year, probably a year and a half, we went paperless with our members' files. We got rid of 5,000 files, most of them 3, 4, 5, 6 inches thick, and all that's digital now. And so that space, we're finally going to take advantage of that free real estate, get rid of those shelves, and build a very nice planning and compliance, like a meeting conference room, glass in the front, an office which is badly needed for our planning and compliance manager, and transform an area that's currently being unused. So now that we're done with our busy season, I don't know if anybody came to member services today, but it must be June 1st because the line was all the way out the door. So we're taking advantage of. You a little busy today, Amanda? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Let's see what else. We're still working on monuments at the other entrances to Canyon Lake and the estates. We're working with the city on the estates. Our next one that's up is we're going to do a survey at the Eastport Market and working with the owner to grant us an easement to build a small monument sign there that will be a smaller version of the sign on the south side. The lodge interior renovation, which is kind of a reconfiguration of the bar area, which would allow us to much better serve the front patio area. Servers and bartenders and bus people can go to and from the indoor and outdoor much better. That is currently at the health department in plan check. The Roadrunner Park restroom, which we have funding for, is now in second plan check at the city. And as soon as we get a permit for that, I think we're good to go. And Steve says yes. So that's been 15 years in the making. We're very excited about that. The lodge outdoor patio, which we showed some renderings of probably 2 months ago. Those have currently been, actually we had a meeting with all the consultants Friday, and everybody's on the same page, and we're shooting to have those construction plans ready so that we can put the project out to bid, and for permits and budgeting. We'll have real world pricing, current real world pricing on that project rather than an estimate. And I'm looking at that to go out to bid in July. The year one road project, we currently have our asphalt engineers working on developing a RFP for the first year of road repairs. And we're hoping to have that by, I think, July or August. And as soon as they're done with the plans and specs, we'll put that project out to bid. And let's see what else. Sierra Park North. Canyon Lake Drive South medians is a improvement project that we've been talking about. That would be repair and replacement reserve funds. Mainly this is about the pine trees in the medians there, which are overgrown and expensive to maintain and have cracked all the curbs there. We have a landscape architect that has designed improvements there. We had some committee input. We've gone back to the landscape architect with some minor modifications. And as soon as those are completed, we will put that project out to bid. And I'm hoping that we improve those medians this year. And very soon you should see, probably a month or two, I guess, some shade out on the lodge bar patio. Is that accurate? A couple months? Okay. It gets really hot at that bar patio, and so we're going to put shade cloth permanent shade cloth. Umbrellas don't work there because it gets so windy, they blow over. And it's been a constant problem ever since we've had a bar here. It's one of the best views in Canyon Lake. So we're going to put a shade structure with shade cloth, just like you see at the pool, over the bar. So when you go out on the patio, it'll be nice and cool, and you'll still have a breeze through there and still be able to see. So hoping to have that done for our busy season. And that's pretty much all I have. We did get an update today that we expect that our next trial in the road litigation will go to court, and that'll probably change, but it is an update that we were given today, January 21 of 2022. So a lot of things can happen between now and then, but that's one update. There's one last piece of that road litigation puzzle, but we're getting ready to go ahead with the road repairs as soon as the plans and specs are done, and hope to do that this year too. And that's all I have. And I want to say that the new board, we spent 2.5 days together in orientation, and it's really been great working with everybody. We had our first executive session meeting today, and we worked from 1 to about probably 5:40, just enough time to maybe use the restroom and drive over here. So we had a very good first executive session, and I think we're going to have a very good, productive year. And I just want to welcome all you guys and congratulate Joe and everybody on your new board positions. And I'm excited for another year. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Lynn, did you have a update report? No. Okay. It says community patrol, but we're just referring to the
As
report
written, yes.
in the packet. Okay. Well, we're up to closing comments. This is making up for our 5-hour executive session, isn't it? Told you I'd do that. So I'll introduce the board and ask them to share some comments, whatever comments they have for you at home. We'll start with Tim on the far end. I've never.
Yeah, I'm really pleased that how well we get along, the projects that we're going forward with, and I look forward to next 2 years making this happen. So.
Tim will be liaison to the ACC committee and the the rec committee, correct. So he'll be giving reports regularly on those as we go on through the year. Renee?
Thank you. My name again is Renee Griffiths, and I am pleased to be here. I am the liaison to the Appeals Committee. I am a liaison to the Finance Committee, which is more appropriate than anything. Also to the Senior Work Group. They are a fantastic group of people. I'm excited when Fiesta Day comes around next year because I'll be a part of that. And then I'm an alternate to a committee in case Joe is unable to make it when we meet with the city. One of the things I would love to continue to encourage people to do is if you have any questions or comments, concerns, please email the board. We do get those emails. Please do not assume that if you post it to Facebook that we're going to see it, because Facebook dictates what we may or may not see depending on what time of the day we go on it. And I hate to miss things that are important. And with that, I'd also like to add for people to follow Canyon Lake POA on both Facebook, but more importantly, because I think it's better, is on Instagram. If you were following them over this park hopper, you would have seen everything that was going on. Constantly, our people were on top of it, and it's a great way to be first to know on everything that's happening within the lake. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Brian?
Good afternoon. First, I want to reflect on this past weekend being Memorial Day. It's kind of interesting. It wasn't called Fiesta Days this year. And I've had people over the years we've lived here say there's always been kind of this question mark of Memorial Day, Fiesta Day. So it might be something to ponder. The Park Hopper event, which was sort of a necessity by almost law, but more kind of like the nature of what we're going through. I think that was a brave and really valuable experience or event for our community to literally get out there. I mean, I heard many people say this was the first time in a long time, except for a couple of other things we've done over the years, over the year. It seems like years, right? And bottom line is, it was really well received by all different places, parks, walks of life. I've heard really great things about it, and kudos to our management for having the combination of wherewithal to do it and a little gumption to push it through, and frankly, in the end, I think that it was really seamless, and that's the best thing we could get from it. I think in the end, the memorial celebration, or I shouldn't never say celebration, commemoration, we have that challenge every time with this and 9/11 and things, really was a nice, in a sense, opening book to the weekend celebration. And so that was really special, and thank Mayor Castillo for organizing that and having us all be part of it, along with our, once again, impromptu golf parade, which I will say brought forth a spirit of patriotism over everything else and community over everything else. I didn't see, I didn't hear, I didn't find anything that anyone found objection to with that particular event, which literally happened because people said, let's do it, we're Canyon Lake. That almost should be our expression, right? Let's do it, we're Canyon Lake. And so on that note, when we put it all together, it was really a spectacular, feels like a week, but it was just a weekend, but it was really something special this weekend in Canyon Lake. And I don't know, you got to raise the bar for next week, I guess. But thank you for everything, Eric and Lynn and everybody for really making all this happen. I think we also increased revenue from what I heard, which is really cool. Both restaurants, things like that. And please bear with our restaurants. They're dealing with some really major situations, not caused by Canyon Lake, not caused by the POA, but caused by the environment between COVID and perhaps some laws and things like that that are going on, and people choosing, kind of like maybe it's sometimes, more beneficial just not work or what have you, and it's hard to find people. So please bear with your servers and your cooks and your chefs and everyone in between. And frankly, we really appreciate all of you and everyone out there. Thank you.
Can I say that we wrote that down, Brian?
Oh, I thought you said you were writing down that. We really appreciate you, because save that one too.
That too, but I think I saw Renee writing that down too.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. Jim, is that your turn?
Without the Nike slash, okay.
I'll tell you, I like Brian. He can articulate everything very, very well. Thank you. But the same thing as he had said, I got the same input from people that I know also. They were very, very pleased with what happened in a very short period of time. And I'm not probably about 2 months, 8 weeks, something like that. So to put something like this together in 8 weeks, it's amazing how complex it is, with fire department, police departments, crowd control, putting up all the signage and stuff like that. So we have a wonderful POA here, and it starts at the top and works all the way down. And I think we all should be blessed that we do have this type of staff representing us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Well, as you can see, I've got a great board that I'm working with. I'm really looking forward to working with them and getting some things done for the betterment of our community. I am excited that the Rules Committee was reinstated. I want to encourage people that are interested in serving the community to go on the website and access the application forms and fill out your application. We expect a number of applicants. We're only going to be able to put 7 appointed members on and 1 alternate. But I look forward to utilizing that committee to its fullest. The Sierra Park funding was an amazing thing that the community did. I don't know anybody that really thought it was going to happen, that the community was going to actually approve $2.2 million, but they did it, and we're going to do our darndest to get that park in there. What it did tell me is that I looked at the numbers, 35% of the community voted on Measure 8. There was 35% of the community voted on Measure 8. 57% voted in favor of the park and the funding. Pretty strong commitment by a lot of people in the community. While I don't see that as a mandate from the community, it's certainly not, but I do see a statement from the community that tells us they want to see the community improved and they want to see good things happen in the community. So that is my personal commitment to do what I can to make our community better. In your packet that you got, you should have a number of reports that we don't typically bring staff in to give, and that's community patrol, ACC reports, communication reports. Those reports are very informative and will share a lot of information with you of what work they actually do. We don't have 130 or 40 employees for nothing. They're all working hard and they're doing their part to make life easier for us here in Canyon Lake. One thing, I like the operations report. If you want to know what projects are being done in the previous month or year to date, you get a good overview of that from the operations report with the different funds, whether it's reserve fund, or road fund, or capital improvement fund. So it's worthwhile reading if you take the time to do it. Also, I want to stress to everybody in the community, they talk about transparency. We do our part on this end. You need to do your part at home, and that is just to go to the website, log into Notify Me. Thank you. Notify Me on the website and sign up for alerts from all the different departments, whatever departments interest you, whether it's job applications, projects we're working on, restaurant information. You can have those updates sent to you by your phone on text or by email. All you got to do is sign up. So I encourage you to do that. With that, I can tell you that our next meeting date is July 6th. We'll have executive session at 1 o'clock, not 2 o'clock, right?
Yes.
1 o'clock. I'll be on time this time. And our regular board meeting is next Tuesday, July 6th at 6 p.m. So with that, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you all for coming.